6 o'clock, I call this meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first up is approval of the agenda.
I will move for the approval of the agenda for December 17, 2024.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed, say no. We have an approved agenda. Next up is consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any questions, comments?
I have a comment,
Okay.
or whatever. On work session minutes, it says, after some confusion about whether a vote was required to form a committee, the city attorney clarified that the charter assigns the mayor the authority to appoint the committee members. That part of it is correct, but it does go further than that as far as I'm concerned. Section 4.35 of the charter says, the mayor, with the advice and consent of the city council, may from time to time appoint such committees, which to me means it needs approval of the council. So I don't think we did it right at the other meeting, and I just want to point out that, I don't think the whole thing was done right, and it should have been voted on by the council, but you can't vote on things at a work session, so it shouldn't have even been handled at the work session. That's all I have.
Counselor, would you like to respond to that?
Yeah, I don't have the charter in front of me.
You want to use my copy?
Sure.
If I have the right,
Yeah, no, that's the right section.
if I have the right revision. How many pages are there? 11?
11. Says there's 11.
On the one I have.
No, I think you're correct. I was kind of going off of memory on that, frankly, and because I thought I looked at that before and thought that it was that the mayor had the authority to do that unilaterally. This is an advisory committee. And I think I was remembering that at the will of the mayor section. But that's a different part of it. So I think I was remembering at the will of the mayor part, but I think that the initial part would require the consent of the council to now that it shall appoint such committee or boards. It's frankly a little vague. Does that mean the committee members versus establishing the committee as a whole? Is that what requires the consent? Or is it the individuals that are appointed to those boards require the advice and consent? But I would read it to say that it's the consent the council would be required.
It's my understanding that the council has always had the final say on all appointments.
But we didn't on this committee.
There are, and I don't have the appointment policy in front of me, there are some that are made by the mayor that do not require approval of the council, but as a standard operating practice, we have always submitted all appointments, whether made by the mayor or by any other means for council approval in the past.
With the exception of last week.
Because that, yeah, he's right about that, that we didn't vote on it, you can't vote at a work session like it was.
But we can vote on it during work session, can't we? Yeah. Just the sidebar, that I think we have established and we have voted on certain items at work sessions. As a properly noticed public meeting, you do have the right to act on agenda items during a work session, correct?
Right. Yes, that's what, and that has happened before.
Okay. Any further comments?
No,
Well,
I just wanted to make my point.
Okay.
The public hearing wasn't
That wasn't a
related
public
to that
hearing.
subject anyway, was it?
No,
No. Okay.
that was in the work session, was just that.
Right.
Public hearings were 3 separate, on different matters.
Okay.
Did the two folks that hadn't been spoken to, were they spoke, there were 2 names that were brought up where the folks hadn't been contacted, whether they wanted to be on the committee or not. Have they,
Brenda has contacted some of the members, but not all of them.
Yeah, I have to get contact information from the mayor and probably you, Scott, to follow up on the new people.
Bring that
So
back
not
to
yet.
The next council meeting.
Not everyone.
Yeah. We'll bring those appointments, unless we want to just wait till the 28th.
Do it either way.
Yeah. Your regular appointments are to be done at the second meeting of January of each year, so we can just bring these back as part of that whole week versus doing one committee appointment and then the rest later, if that works for council.
Works for me. Works. Sounds like works for you.
I suppose it works. I mean, the committee for the Playhouse, I thought was kind of a timely, more timely kind of thing that needed work done, so I would think that that committee would want to be formed and be meeting sooner rather than later, but
I'm not sure,
we hadn't set a time for that to begin meeting yet.
I do agree sooner rather than later, but I doubt you're gonna get people between now and the end of the year. I mean, what are you thinking, the second meeting in January?
By your appointment policy, that's when you make, council approves all the appointments, the second meeting. Yeah, sooner than later would be great, although the Playhouse is still operating, it is still drawing down on somebody's money, which right now is basically the general fund, even though there wasn't a loan officially approved. But we're still gonna pay our utility bills and our electric bill. So yes, sooner than later would be better, but I don't think early January would be the earliest, not to use the word early twice. But you're right, during the holidays, it's gonna be difficult to get people together. So what we had anticipated was probably sometime in January, but if it's early February, I don't think there's anything massively critical.
Well, I mean, you're probably going on vacation, or not vacation, but holiday, but it doesn't, I mean, there could be some preliminary work done so that when the committees
Yep, we're in,
meets, you're ready to
Yep.
look at the information and maybe some you know, maybe get started to work right away.
Yeah, Beth and I are already starting to pull stuff together. They'll be able to hit the ground with their feet running. Is that proper? I don't think that's the proper term, is it?
More or less.
Hit the ground running?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Even that sounds weird now.
No, that's not.
Hit the ground.
I mean, I think the desire is that the committee gets to work as soon as possible. So I think that's going to be the challenges in this end of year, holiday season, to get people to be able to sit down and start work. So
I mean,
I certainly support the sooner the better.
does anybody just want to vote on the slate that you had and add more, or?
Agenda right now, right?
Yeah,
You could amend tonight's agenda to put that on the table.
that way people could at least be notified, you know, and start thinking about some ideas.
And related to getting started quickly and having the ability to make sense of things, I'm gonna ask again to start getting monthly financial statements concerning the Playhouse. The last time I was asked, it was stated that we've already get them on a quarterly basis, but this is hardly what I would call a financial statement. It certainly is not meaningful at all. It's got one number for total revenues and one number for total expenditures. And according to this, at the end of September, we had $53,000 in cash, but a month later, we were asked to get a $100,000 loan because we were out of money, significantly. So I'm asking again, I think we need financials, realistic, usable financial statements for the Playhouse.
We can do that.
I would amend the agenda if I see nods, yes, or,
What are we amending it for?
what, to vote
To
on
add
the,
the-
to vote on the committee. I mean, we could certainly vote on what Steve has put forward, and other people could throw names into the
You
mix.
wanna vote on when they're gonna meet? I don't understand.
No, we can vote on the committee that Steve, the mayor, has already suggested. Other people can throw in names and they can be voted on, I guess. I mean, if you want to do it now, and that way people at least are notified, and if, you know, if people are interested in doing it.
Whatever gets it moving quicker is fine with me. Or quick as.
Well, to be honest, when we talked about that the last time after, I thought I was confused after the last meeting, because I thought at the beginning, or after we had talked about Scott getting on there, Scott Brown, I thought he was gonna be on there. And then at the end, you know, I guess it was just the two names that we had added. I would just assume, like, to see Scott on there too,
Well, we'd have to
if he's
have,
interested.
Tom, we'd have to have a motion to put this on the agenda for today, to vote on
Okay.
it.
Do we
We
need
we
to-
don't have a motion right now.
Do we need to approve the consent agenda first? before we
Yes.
do that?
Well, maybe.
There-
We have a motion and a second to do that, so we should address that motion.
For the consent
Call
agenda.
for the
For the
question.
consent agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'll call for the question on the consent agenda, then we get to the other.
You already have a motion and a second
Yeah,
for
we
that,
just need
so
to
we
vote
just
on the
need
consent
a
agenda.
Okay, just calling for
voice
the
vote.
vote.
Yeah.
So all those in favor of the consent agenda say yes.
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 Opposed say no. All right, the consent agenda is approved.
Mhm.
Okay, someone want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to amend the agenda to vote on the committee composition today.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Would we be able to hear the list of folks who are already been suggested?
Yes. I have Zemer, Salter, Otto, Benerick, Regal, Smith, Gazelle, Kiefer, Seaver, and Beeman will act as staff liaisons. You wouldn't necessarily have to appoint them to the committee. Pretty sure that's what the list was.
So this will be under new business then, when we get to it, correct?
So we're voting to put this on the
or
meeting
old business.
agenda.
Or
Yeah,
old business. I think under old business.
Probably under old business.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll add it.
Did you have the two people's names there that were added?
Gazelle and
Yes.
Kiefer.
Gazelle? Okay, I couldn't remember what the other one was. I forgot. Okay.
But we're not voting on that, we're voting on putting it on the agenda?
Amending the
That's
agenda to
right
Okay,
now you're
that's
doing
what I thought I said, so.
So the motion is to amend the agenda to include a vote on the committee. Is that understood? All right.
Yeah.
All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed say no. All right, we have that on the agenda. So next we will come up with a message from mayor, city council, and managers. Let's start with the longevity awards, because I don't want to keep these guys here all night. So, first up, let's see,
No, I'm
Beth
just gonna
is-
bring them around.
10 years. Beth, I don't see Beth here.
No.
Thank you, Beth, for 10 years of service at the Playhouse. Brenda?
Yeah, I'm here.
You giving yourself an award?
I am,
That's 10 years, right?
10 years?
Wow.
I thought it was longer.
Feels like it
Yeah.
sometimes. So. Here's my certificate. I made my own. Here, there we go.
Here.
Thank you.
She's got the better font.
Yeah. Yeah, where did you get that, going from the, thank you.
Thank you for your
Appreciate it.
service.
Yes, thank you.
One more to come.
Yes, many more. Over 6.
Alyssa is
She's not here
Not
tonight.
here?
Yeah.
Alyssa's also 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Next would be Travis.
Travis is not here yet.
Travis.
Yeah, we have these two. And then this one.
David.
How many years, Dave?
Yeah, long time.
20 years. Is it 20 years?
20 years.
Wow. We have a,
Oh, no, it's right here. Sorry. Sorry. Hey, my job's done. I gotta take notes.
20 years.
That was out. All right, Dave.
Should've taken a hat off for the photo.
No.
Too much light.
Next,
Yeah, I don't have a tan.
25 years.
Mm.
Derek.
Here she is.
Wow. He's got a tan.
Wow.
It was a little shiny and
You start when you were like 14? Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
And this is for Paul.
And then retirement recognition. All. How many years?
21.
21.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 21 good years.
Oh,
Oh, we need pictures. Oh, yeah.
Don't look at me.
How many months, how many days? I think that was a trivia question.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Enjoy your retirement.
I certainly will.
Ooh, you can put it.
All right. Next would be city manager. Do you have anything for us?
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
All right. Let's start. Anya,
Oh, sure.
what do you got for us?
Let me see, I was going to thank all those who are retired, have been around forever. I always tell people we have the nicest people work. Oh, you can't hear me. Oh my gosh. I always tell people we have the nicest people working for us. And so I want to thank everybody who's retired or gotten recognition. I also wanted to thank council for a year of lively meetings. And I enjoyed, well, almost every one of them. And I look forward to more lively meetings going forward. And I appreciate and respect you all. So I just want to let you know that. And I want to hope everybody has a safe holiday.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to pull a Mac Hatch and say ditto.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say either, I guess. Just Merry Christmas.
Jeff?
You know, you determine how old you are by the people that you've grown up with in the departments, and I'm just looking at the guys back there and just shaking my head. So, congratulations to you all. Hopefully I'll be joining you soon.
You could have.
We'll get there. And Merry Christmas to everybody. We'll make it through this season and start anew.
I just ditto the happy holidays to everybody and hope everybody has a safe one.
Well, ditto the Merry Christmas, and everybody drive safe wherever you go, whether you stay home and drive through downtown Whitehall as much as you can and look at all the beautiful lights. That's all I have, thank you.
Okay. Merry Christmas and thank you to all our staff that do such a great job taking care of us in this community. Thank you to all the council members that serve their community. We will move on to public comment. Is there anyone from the public that would like to make a comment?
Scott?
Scott?
Oh, wait, did he?
Oh.
He got first.
Oh, I missed that, sorry. Missed that. I missed that part.
Second chance.
Didn't miss a thing I said.
I don't see any public comments, so we will move on to old business. Old business, addressing the motion for the approval of the mayor's appointment list. Is that what we're doing?
Probably a motion to create a Playhouse Finance Committee and appoint the members as recommended by the mayor.
Okay. that will be-
I'll make that motion. So eloquent.
Well, I'll second it, although I think a Playhouse Sustainability Committee sounds better.
We can do that.
Whatever works for you.
Okay,
I'll change it to
I like that
sustainability.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I would, the added two are included in there, the two that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Is it too late to add? I would like to put Scott Brown's name on that. I mean, supposedly, he's not desirable in the eyes of some to be on that committee, but I think that just because he's a little bit of a negative on the Playhouse doesn't necessarily mean that he couldn't help figure out ways for this Playhouse to make money. And so I would like to see Scott's name put on the list if he so desires to be on that committee. I don't see any reason just because someone is not necessarily in total agreement with everybody else that they should be eliminated from the committee. That's my opinion.
I would like to see Scott on there too, because there's, like it or not, Scott's got a lot of common sense and about running things profitably and things like that, is my opinion, so.
I would support that as well, except for I want to make it clear that the committee that I had suggested was, to be clear, it was not selling off the Playhouse, giving the Playhouse away, closing the Playhouse. It was how can the city operate the Playhouse sustainably, and that's going to be the charge of the committee, and so I just want to make sure that that's clear what my my motion had been, and I'm hoping everybody who wants to be on a committee is of that same mind, you know, because I would hate to see the committee mired by, not that I'm suggesting that Scott, that you'll do this, but, you know, the committee's got to work on the short-term funding deficit, and it's going to look at the sustainability. That's going to be the charge. The charge is not going to be, at least in my mind, of the motion that I made, giving it to somebody else, selling it, shutting it down. So I just want to be clear about that. And hopefully the committee mission will be clearer. Do you have a mission yet, Scott?
That's something the committee can formalize at their first meeting. But I think the direction is clear.
Okay.
So I guess that's my advice and consent, more or less. I agree with everybody else that's on there, and I would like the addition of Scott. And apparently a couple other council members feel the same, but
I remind you that it's the mayor's prerogative, and I've submitted my list.
not according to what we just read.
It is his, he makes the appointments, the council advises and consents to that.
Oh, okay.
So he makes the appointments.
I'm making my advising.
Right, yeah, you can certainly do that.
Okay, consider it.
So are we voting on
How
a,
can we-
are we voting on a slate, or how do we offer any advice, I guess?
I think you have offered advice. The mayor appears to be choosing not to accept it, and it's his prerogative, I think, Will?
Yep.
To stick with the original slate of 8.
Then you would consent to that. You have to, that then goes to a vote to consent to that list. But the council doesn't get to
Make the appointments.
make a motion to put somebody
We
on the
can't make
committee.
suggestions?
You can make
Oh,
suggestions,
Yep.
Oh, okay.
but you can't make a motion and have it voted on and approved to add somebody. Because the appointment can only come from the mayor.
I'm still confused as to how this works, though.
I've heard the advice of the council,
And you're gonna stay with what you
and
have?
I'm gonna stay with my original list.
Okay, then.
So,
My vote will be no then.
we need a vote?
We're thinking probably a roll call vote?
Okay, roll call,
Roll
please.
call, okay. Sure. Holmstrom,
Sure, make me first.
sorry. Going by the motion.
I know.
Movement, second.
I'm gonna say no.
Kabala,
No.
Siginga,
No.
Brown,
No.
Zemer,
No.
Hillebrand,
No.
Salter.
Yes. So with that, we'll move on to new business.
Now what do we do?
That motion has failed.
Correct. Does that mean we do not have a committee then, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
So let's move on to new business. Walk the beat request.
I'll make a motion to approve the walk the beat request for Saturday, July 19th from 1 to 5.
Second.
And I think that should be 2025, not 2024.
That sounds great.
That's my usual mistake.
This happens.
Especially this time of year.
You have a motion and a second already on the floor, so just need a vote.
All those in favor of this, say yes.
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 Opposed, say no. All right, walk the beat request is approved. Next up is Resolution 2448, White Lake Pathway.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2448, resolution to establish a request for funding for the White Lake Pathway.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Sir, any discussion on this? Any need for
Yeah.
clarification?
I need clarification as to exactly what, I didn't know we had a boardwalk. What is this boardwalk that we're talking about?
It's the old railroad crossing into Montague.
I thought that,
Yeah.
but I wasn't sure, and it goes to, out by the marina somewhere, by Keenan,
Roughly, yes.
to resurface.
Yep.
Well, that's all I need to know.
Okay.
I have a question. I want, is the $35,676 that would be required by the city in the present budget?
No, you would be putting that in a future budget. But in order to secure the funding, we have to pass this resolution today. Well, not today, but today.
When would we know whether the funding goes through or not? Do you have any idea on that?
I think
It's now,
it's locked in, providing we submit this resolution. Correct, Brian?
correct, and that would be for 2027 construction.
Okay,
So our part would be about 25% approximately of the total, and the.
It's a
or
total
about
of,
35 maybe, I don't know,
it's a total of 177, right, Brian?
178, yeah.
so 35 is
About 25%.
30%,
Yeah,
so.
correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Holmstrom,
Yes.
Zemer,
Yes.
Hillebrand,
Yes.
Kabala,
Yes.
Sittinga,
Yes,
Brown,
yes,
Salter.
Yes, resolution 2448 is approved. Last up is public comment. Okay, does anyone have anything they want to say?
can I add one thing? Maybe
Yes.
ask a question?
Sure, yeah.
I forgot. I took the dog for a walk down a rail trail today, and it doesn't appear that Keenan has moved much of anything.
We just discussed that, and Will is gonna turn up the legal heat.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I didn't look like anything was different to me from a few weeks back.
They took a few boat cradles out,
Oh, did they?
but nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, all the broken cement and all that's still laid all over the place.
Yep.
Okay.
Sticking out to Will.
It just came back to my brain again, so.
All right.
I would just, so I feel like we can't just leave this committee situation hanging because we've got a situation we have to address. We talked about taking it to committee and now all of a sudden the committee's dead, so where does that leave us? What do we do?
I would guess that the mayor needs to come up with a different slate or the same slate with additional names on it or something like that, and then we would vote on it at a future meeting. Is that correct? Or, that's the way I see it. I don't.
Because the committee still is.
Well, we need it.
We
We need it.
said we want to have a committee.
Right.
As an alternative, the city council could act as a committee of the whole, if you will, and we can bring this up at the next and subsequent work sessions and invite those members who had an interest to assist to participate in those work sessions.
Could we do that to get started? I don't know, I think an actual committee would be better myself,
I do too.
to be able to
Just
focus.
throwing out an
Yeah,
alternative.
I appreciate that.
But
I think it's
that could be
critical.
an approach as well.
Or maybe some wise heads could confer during the holidays, come up with a slate that can be approved.
Anyone else? Anything else? We're adjourned.